Greetings, wonderful people. Okay, 5 exam tips that may or may not help, but should help your current exam situation. Okay, it's going to be quick, so let's just move through this as quickly as we possibly can. The first tip, sleep. Oh, who would have thought, right? Sleeping will have a positive effect on your study and exam performance. Look, the studies are showing continually that high school students and teenagers are getting on average 7 hours of sleep. That is not sufficient. And I know that many of you are just like, 7 hours? Are you serious? I'm getting 3. That is not sufficient and it is not healthy, okay? The studies show you need, as a teenager, between 9 and 10 hours of sleep per night. Here's the biggest factor that hinders that sleep is your mobile phone. I know, right? Like, nothing like a millennial or a boomer telling you to get off your phone before sleep. But there is significant studies showing the negative effect of the shortwave artificial blue light on your sleeping patterns. Here's my suggestion. 30 minutes before you go to bed, okay? Before you want to sleep, you put your phone down. You set your alarms and whatnot, you put it to the side and you do not look at it before you go to bed. These studies suggest 2 hours. I'm being nice and compromising for 30 minutes, but that should help you to get to bed much more quickly, okay? The blue light is stimulating your brain. So when you're trying to sleep and you're realizing you can't, that's because that blue light has basically stimulated your brain. And now I know what you're saying, Mr. Hislop, I've turned my blue light off on my phone. No, you have not. You've dimmed it, okay? It still exists there. It's still there. It's still ever present, but you've just dimmed it. You've reduced the effect it has, but there's still an effect, okay? So 30 minutes, all right? That's all I'm asking for, okay? 1 hour is ideal. That's what I do personally. Now, if you don't believe me, check out these studies. This study leads to this study, leads to this study, leads back to this study. And all of them say the same thing, which is if you do not get off your phone at least 30 minutes to an hour before bed, you end up like this, okay? And that's not good for anyone. The next one is to tip 2, focus your study, okay? There's no point sitting down with a whole bunch of papers and going, I'm going to study now, because if you do not have a focus, you will not get productive work done. You can't bring a wing it mentality to your study. You need to make sure that you have a focus. You have a way that you are going to approach each facet of your study, okay? Here's a suggestion. Each exam is broken up into sections, all right? So let's take the English exam, for instance. There are 3 sections to that English exam. You may choose to focus one day on one of those sections alone, all right? You may focus on comprehending, for instance, but that's even too broad. You might focus on comprehending questions that deal with language features, and that's all you're going to cover in that study session. That is going to be much more beneficial than just sitting down and going, I'm just going to attempt the English exam. Okay, well, what benefit do you get from that? Unless you're getting that marked and feedback's being delivered back to you, what's the benefit, right? So here's a question. Can you multitask? Because I can't. And if I can't, I'm imagining you can't either. If you can, you're amazing, congratulations. But for the majority of people, studies are continually suggesting this as well, you cannot multitask. Focus on one thing. That means studying doesn't involve talking to people, okay, or doing multiple different things. Reading a book at the same time, reading other literature, focusing on multiple different subjects at the same time, it cannot work, okay? Focus your study. Steve Jobs said it bed? He said it best. He does have his bed face on, but Steve Jobs said, do not try to do everything, do one thing well, okay? And it's something that you can take into your entire lives, but let's just take it in an exam sense, okay? In a study sense. Do not try to do everything, focus on one thing well for that period of time, all right? For what period of time, you ask, Mr. Hislop? Here it is. Dr. Jane Genovese, who's been at our school and is a guru in terms of learning fundamentals, suggests that we need to have small chunks of time associated with our study and then small breaks that accompany that, okay? Here's a model that's worked really, really well for me, okay? 45 minutes of work, focused, uninterrupted work, 20 minutes break, okay? You go hard for 45 minutes. When I say you go hard for 45 minutes, you are studying for that entire 45 minutes. You're not talking to anyone. You're not listening to anything else, unless it's music, instrumental music. And then you take a 20-minute break. The 20-minute break should not be spent on your phone because you're not getting a break from stimulation. Remember what we said in tip 1. You are being stimulated by that phone, okay? So if you can break away from that phone, maybe you're reading through a book, maybe you're going for a walk, maybe just talking with someone, okay? That's going to be really beneficial for that 20-minute break. But 45 minutes, hard work, 20-minute break, and then 45 minutes directly after that again. And you can do a couple of cycles of that. If you're not doing anything, if you're not at school at all, you should be doing 3 cycles of that a day. If you're completing school and then you're going home to study, maybe one cycle will be enough. Okay? So that's an incredibly beneficial way of going about it. If 45 minutes is too much, reduce it. You might bring it back to 20 minutes of hard work, 10-minute break, 20 minutes of hard work. Or 30 minutes of hard work, 15-minute break, 30 minutes of hard work. It's what works best for you. There's 2 apps that I've added down here. The first one's Forest, which I use, and it's a way that it stops all social media and your ability to interact with social media whilst you're studying. Super beneficial. Suggest you get it. Here's a Spotify playlist that was suggested to me by one of my Year 12 ATAR drama students and has worked so well for my study habits. Chill, lo-fi study beats. Purely instrumental, great to have in the background, not going to distract you, helps you to gain some of that momentum in your study. Tip 4, find your workspace. Now, there is one room in my entire house where I am productive, and that's my office. If you don't have that workspace, you need to find an alternative workspace. Here's a suggestion. The Belmont Hub. The new library there is amazing. They've got a park across the road, all right? Find a park close to you. It might be your backyard, it might be your front yard, it might be the front living room, but wherever you can, find a productive space free of distractions, okay? And that's going to be your space where you study. Tip 5, meditation. I could almost hear the groans coming through the speakers, the screen. I know that so many times millennials and boomers are telling you to meditate. You're like, why? I don't feel anything. But studies are continually suggesting the benefit of meditation, especially in the approach of exams, okay? Especially throughout study, before and after exams. We know that meditation brings your mind to a focus point, okay? And what better instance to do that than exams? So in your study, you could meditate. Before your exams, you should meditate. And after your exams as well, you should meditate as well, because you don't want to carry those unnecessary stresses with you past that exam period. I know that we've all been in the instance where we've sat in a really intense test, and then for the rest of the day, we're just kind of like bawling over it. Like, did I get that right answer? Did I misinterpret that question? What did you get for that? What did you get for that question? The benefit is meditating will free you of that anxiety. It's an opportunity to de-stress, bring your mind to the focus point. And when people ask you to just relax or stress less, what does that even mean? Well, what it means is they want you to free yourself of unnecessary stresses. The way to do that, meditation, okay? Here is a research paper that I read in full. You don't need to read it in full. I'm going to tell you what happened. They took a subset of students who were studying for exams. This was back in 2007. One subset, they just let them go free. So they just let them study as they regularly would without any audio spoken aids, okay? The second subset, they gave just music. For their study, before and after exams, they listened to music, okay? The third were taken through audio, a mixture of audio visual and guided meditation, all right? So someone talking you through a meditation. And that was before study, before and after exams. They measured their well-being and their academic performance. Now, the reason why I've got it in here, you could already guess which resulted in the significant increase in well-being and academic performance. Well, of course, it was the meditation, okay? They found a significant increase in their ability to feel good about their exam, feel prepared for their exam, and perform in their exam by listening to guided meditations before and after the exam. Look, it's easy. Headspace is a free app for teachers and students. It's free because they find it is essential for positive stress management. Calm costs lots of money, but it's awesome if you want like Matthew McConaughey or someone famous talking to you. And Smiling Minds is also not a terrible app to be using. I use Headspace. I think it's great. I can suggest a whole bunch of different guided meditations, but I'm sure that you will look at that. Look, lots of studies are saying the same things. They did another one with high school population, much more recent, 2012. And then they did this one, okay, with medical students at university level, all right? Now, this was done in 2009, but this one talked about high-end, academically driven, competitive industry and the need for this kind of meditation to support their stress management. All show the same, significant improvement, well-being and academic performance. But, I mean, hey, you do your research. This is a significant study as well. Tip 1, let's just recap. Tip 1, sleep. Get 9 to 10 hours of sleep. Get off your phone 30 minutes before bed. Tip 2, focus your study. No point trying to, work on everything. Try and think about one piece of information or one section of the exam you're going to focus on in your study sessions. Tip 3, 45 and 20. 45 minutes hard work, 20-minute break, 45 minutes of hard work, and cycle that. 4, find your workspace. If it's not at home, find it elsewhere. Maybe it can be at the library here at school. Maybe it can be at the Belmont Hub Library. Maybe it's at a park. Wherever it is, find your productive workspace. And tip 5, meditation. Use it to de-stress. When someone is saying stress less or chill out, what they mean is you are carrying unnecessary stress around. You don't need to. It's baggage. The way that you can get rid of that is meditation. Where did I get this from? Well, I got this from largely from a wizard, okay, a guru when it comes to this kind of information about studying smarter, not harder. And that's Dr. Jane Genovese, who we've had into Belmont before, okay? She is constantly talking about these strategies and these tips to help improve the well-being of students and the academic performance of students, all right? I use this book all the time. It got me through my master's degree. If it can get me through my master's degree, it can get you through your high school experience. So what are you going to implement into your everyday exam preparation strategies, okay, or kind of dealings? Maybe it's just one, maybe it's two, maybe you focus on just getting the right sleep. Maybe you just focus on 45 and 20-minute blocks. Maybe you just focus on downloading Headspace. It's up to you, but use these tips and it should help you with your exams. That brings us to the end. Some references in case you want to do as much reading as I have done on this issue. Look, the best thing I can say at this point is you don't want to regret not doing the hard yards in preparation, okay? Get into it, introduce these tips, and see where it gets you. Best of luck with your exams.